Sounds dry.
Hey, so here's the lobster bisque using no cream. So I use some lobster tails, some onions, garlic, some potatoes, some carrots, some seasonings of your
Sounds
choice.
dry.
Obviously, I use the same as I usually do: paprika, chili, and some sea salt. I've got the lobster tails boiling here, and I add a little bit of sea salt there. And I also am boiling the potatoes separately, just so they can start to soften up a little bit. And in another little pot, I'm gonna separately put some butter. And from here, I'm gonna just simmer that slowly with some onions and garlic. Just checking on the lobster tails till they get to around this stage, which is maybe about 2 minutes boiling. I don't want to overboil them, otherwise they'll just go rubbery and taste disgusting. So once they have been boiling for around 2 minutes or so, 2 to 3 minutes, let's say, I then go ahead and take them out the water, just leave them to rest while I make sure that I'm, simmering the onions and the garlic and adding my carrots so they can start to cook and soften up. And then also the potatoes, which I had part boiled earlier on.
Sounds dry.
So what I'm doing here is just adding my seasoning cube, which I had put some water with. And then I've just added that on in regards to the water that the lobster tails were actually boiling in, because we're going to actually use that as part of our broth in a sense, because you'll have all the flavors from the lobster itself while it was boiling. And at this stage, what I'm doing is just deshelling the lobster, just carefully removing it. What I did is literally put a knife on the back and kind of slammed my hand down just to crack it, and then I just peeled away at it. And what I'm doing with the shells is I'm adding it back to the water that it was boiling in, just to get even more of those flavors from the lobster itself. Meanwhile, I'm still checking the potatoes and carrots that are simmering slowly.
Sounds dry.
And from there, I'll add the chopped tomatoes so they can really start to cook through slowly and really, in a sense, just get the flavors that I need, because I'm going to actually combine everything together in the end and use a soup maker to actually blend it all together. So as you can see there, that's how I opened the lobster tail in the back, and then just peeling it away and making sure I can add the shell to the water that's still boiling, so I can actually use the meat, because what I'll do is I'll chop up the meat in little cubes, and then I'll just have that separately for now.
Sounds dry. Sounds dry.
And what I'm doing here is just going back again to the carrots, potatoes, and chopped tomatoes, and I'm just adding my seasonings again. So from here, I'm adding some barbecue seasoning, some paprika, some chili, and just making sure that it's flavored to how I want it to be flavored, really, and just checking on it every so often. And I'm also adding some lemon juice. I feel like this just cancels out the tangy and zestiness of the tomatoes that are in there already. Otherwise, it just tastes too tomatoey in a sense, and we don't really want that. We really want the flavors of the actual lobster to come through more. And this is just how it looks. These are the shells still boiling, just to get that flavor out. And while the potatoes, carrots are still simmering. And what I'm doing here now is, because I have actually got the lobster chopped up separately, I'm going to actually just kind of pan fry them a little bit. So what I'm doing is putting a low heat on a pan separately, and I'll take the chopped pieces of lobster and I'll add it to the butter once the butter's melted on the pan, and I'll just let them cook a little bit, not too long, probably I would say about a minute, again on low heat, because we don't want the lobster to overcook, otherwise it would turn really rubbery and you would just ruin the whole dish.
Sounds dry. Sounds dry.
Okay, guys, and I lost the clip here, but what I did is I added the potatoes and carrots and tomatoes mixture in with the actual water and drained out the shells, obviously. And then I added that soup mix really to my soup maker and blended it. and this is the end result. I have some chunks of the lobster in there that I pan fried, and the soup itself, and it came out gorgeous. I would definitely recommend this recipe, and if you choose to have some cream in it, you can put a dollop of cream in there, but it's good as it is.